Hi students, how are you? I hope each one among you are doing great and well. Welcome to Supnet's classes. This is Rehmat Latif, your biology educator. In our previous session, we just saw spermatogenesis, and in this video, we are going to learn about oogenesis. I'll repeat a little bit. Gametogenesis. Gametogenesis simply means what? It means formation of gametes. Okay. And gametogenesis mainly consists spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Okay, spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Okay, spermatogenesis simply means formation of male gamete, that is sperm. Formation of male gametes, that is sperm. Sperms. And oogenesis simply means formation of female gametes, that is ovum. Formation of female gametes, that is ovum or egg. Okay, I hope this concept about gametogenesis, about spermatogenesis and oogenesis is crystal clear. In our previous session, we just saw spermatogenesis. We just learned what happens in spermatogenesis, right? I taught you what happens in spermatogenesis. If you haven't watched that video yet, go and check that video. Only that, then you can understand this oogenesis, okay? Let me erase it. Let's study oogenesis, okay? Let's study oogenesis. Oogenesis now simply means formation of female gamete, right? Female gamete, that is ovum or egg. In this session, we are particularly and purely going to learn about oogenesis. Oogenesis simply means formation of female gamete, that is ovum or egg. Okay, and please remember, it's totally different from spermatogenesis. Oogenesis is totally different from spermatogenesis. How? As you all know, spermatogenesis starts at puberty, right? I'll write it down here. Spermatogenesis, as I already mentioned in our previous session, that spermatogenesis starts at the age of puberty. But oogenesis is totally different from that. Spermatogenesis, this process starts at puberty and even continues in old man. Okay, and even continues in old man. Okay, spermatogenesis, this process starts at puberty and even continues in old man. But talking particularly about oogenesis, that process, okay, please remember the differences. Oogenesis, formation of female gamete, starts at embryonic development. That means when baby girl is, inside her mother, inside the womb of her mother, she starts producing gametes. Okay, oogenesis starts at embryonic development. okay, inside womb of the mother, but it ceases. It doesn't continue in an old woman. It ceases, but it ceases around the age of 50 years, okay? Around the age of 50 years, which is termed as menopause, which we are going to learn particularly in which topic, in menstrual cycle, okay? I hope this concept about oogenesis is clear. Oogenesis starts at embryonic development. Oogenesis starts at embryonic development. What happens basically during embryonic development of baby girl? Basically, a couple of million gamete mother cells, which are known as oogonia. In males, male germ cells were known as spermatogonia. Here they are known as oogonia. Please mark the difference, okay? What happens basically during embryonic development? A couple of million gamete mother cells are formed inside oogo are formed, okay? They are formed within each fetal ovary, okay? And they are known as oogonia, okay? Oogonia, they are known as oogonia. Please remember, gamete mother cells. Gamete mother cells, oogonia, okay? I hope this concept of oogonia is clear, right? Oogonia formed female gamete mother, sorry, million couple of million gamete mother cell are formed inside each within each fetal ovary. And please remember that no more oogonia are formed. That no more oogonia are formed or added after birth. Please remember. Only, in fact, they start declining. They start getting, they start decreasing. They didn't increase. They won't increase. They will start decreasing. So please remember, no more oogonia formed are added after birth. Now what happened? These oogonia cells will start a division known as meiotic division. But since they are in, they are in embryonic development, so these cells will get arrested at prophase. Okay, these cells will get arrested at prophase. Okay, and that those cells are no more called as oogonia. Those cells are known as gets arrested. Those cells are known as primary oocytes. There, after meiosis 1, those cells were known as primary spermatocytes, but here they are known as primary oocytes. Okay, now they are known as primary oocytes. Now each primary oocyte gets surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells. Say for example, this is primary oocyte. Now this is primary oocyte. This will get covered surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells. These will get surrounded by granulosa cells like this. Granulosa cells are covering primary oocyte. These are known as granulosa cells. They start covering this, primary oocytes. These cells are known as granulosa cells, okay? And now they are no more known as primary oocytes since this granulosa cells start covering it. Now they are known as primary follicle, not primary cells. They are known as primary follicle. Okay, what will happen after what we call it as primary follicle is formed, right? A large number of these follicles degenerate. They got vanished, and from birth to the puberty only 60,000 to 80,000 follicles are left in each ovary. Before, two couple of million gametes were in each ovary, but now from birth to puberty these follicles degenerate, and at puberty only 60,000 to 80,000 follicles are left in each ovary, right? Primary follicles now get surrounded by more layer of granulosa cells and a new theca. See, say for example, this is now primary follicle, right? Primary follicle looks like this and it has one layer of granulosa cells. But since it has to get transformed into secondary follicle, it will additional covering of granulosa cells will get on it, and moreover a new theca, a new layer will get formed, theca. Okay, new layer will get formed. Thus it's not known as primary follicle, it's known as, sorry, secondary follicle now. Okay, I'll write it here. It's not known as primary follicle now, it's now known as secondary follicle. Okay, secondary follicle. I hope this concept of secondary follicle is clear. Now secondary follicle will get transformed into which follicle? Secondary follicle will get transformed into tertiary follicle, and tertiary follicle is characterized by its own characters. I'll clear it. Secondary follicle gets transformed into tertiary follicle. See what tertiary follicle is. Tertiary follicle is characterized by a fluid-filled cavity known as antrum, and theca is organized into inner theca interna and outer theca externa. See, for example, this is follicle. It's surrounded by granulosa cells, right? It's surrounded by granulosa cells, and it's surrounded by granulosa cells, and it's surrounded by theca layer. Secondary follicle was surrounded by theca layer, but theca layer gets transformed into two theca layer, that is inner theca interna. I'll write inner theca interna and outer theca externa. Okay, and it gets covered with a fluid cavity. That fluid is known as antrum. Okay, I hope this concept is clear, right? What will happen? It's at this stage that meiosis 1 will get finished. Okay, and meiosis 1 will get meiosis 1 will result in what? A haploid ooted. Okay, it will get it's an unequal division and it forms haploid secondary oocyte and first tiny polar body. It will be like this. First meiotic division will lead to formation of two structures, one bigger and another tiny. It's tiny first polar body, it's haploid oocyte. Okay, primary haploid oocyte. Okay, I hope this concept is clear, right? It's haploid oocyte, secondary oocyte. Now what will form? This tertiary follicle will get converted into Graafian follicle, mature follicle. We have already formation of a secondary oocyte and tiny first polar body is clear, right? And this tertiary follicle will get converted into mature follicle. Tertiary follicle will get converted into mature follicle, or we can call it as Graafian follicle. Okay, Graafian follicle then finally ruptures. It's Graafian follicle which will rupture. But in tertiary structure, oocyte is formed and first tiny polar body is formed. But Graafian follicle is, after tertiary follicle will get converted into Graafian follicle, which will rupture and will release secondary oocyte, or we can call it ovum, from the ovary by the process known as ovulation. Okay, Graafian follicle ruptures to release the secondary oocyte by the process known as ovulation. There we had spermiation, but here we have ovulation. Ovulation means release of ovum from Graafian follicle. Release of ovum is known as ovulation, but there in spermatogenesis we had spermiation, right? Spermiation simply means release of sperm. Sorry, Spermiation simply means release of sperm. I hope this concept of spermatogenesis, that of oogenesis, is crystal clear, right? In our next session, we will see what is menstrual cycle, okay, what is menarche, what is menopause, when it occurs, so on and so forth. Till then, stay tuned. We'll meet you in another session. Till then, goodbye, take care. Thank you so much.